Welcome to the last 7 days. Today we're going to go over some exciting news in tech and manufacturing.
That's right. Cisco Systems said that it was cutting 5% of its global workforce today, more than 4,000 jobs, and lowered its annual revenue target as the company navigates a tough economy, which it's been a tough economy for the last couple of years. Yeah. But we're seeing lots of layoffs in the tech field, right? It sounds like what they're doing is what a lot of other companies are doing as well. They're restructuring to focus on some of their high growth areas. I know we talked about Google doing this a few weeks ago, right? If I had to guess, they're probably turning their focus to AI and their partnership with NVIDIA.
Just last week, NVIDIA became the third most valuable U.S. tech company. Do you know who they just surpassed?
No, who was number 3?
Google.
Oh, okay. I mean,
so NVIDIA just surpassed Google as the third most valuable U.S. company and the fourth most valuable in the world.
Okay. All right. I mean, this makes sense. They're valued at what? $1.83 trillion. They're sitting fourth, right? Behind it globally, sitting fourth globally. So behind, it sounds like Microsoft and Apple are the only two companies ahead of it from the American perspective. But then Saudi Arabia's state-owned oil company, I think, is right over 2 trillion. So yeah, it would make it number 4th. I mean,
this has to be due to the AI boom, because NVIDIA's been focused. They went all in on AI chips, AI processing, and of course, you need these chips for AI, and they played it right, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, let's see if they can hold that spot, right? I think their quarterly report's dropping today. So it's expected to be positive. I wouldn't expect anything other than positive from NVIDIA, but anything less than excellent could lower valuation. And of course, their ranking, moving Google back to the top 3.
I guess we did make a mistake because we have both said Google. Technically, the company's name is Alphabet. In my mind, in my heart, it's always Google, but they went with Alphabet, so I'll try to respect that. But
yeah, I'm with you.
And I think this whole move for AI is something that we're seeing more and more of too. In fact, just on the 19th, Microsoft said that they announced that they're going to expand their AI infrastructure in Spain with a $2.1 billion investment. And they had just announced a $3.45 billion announcement in investment in Germany. So Microsoft, I guess all these big tech giants are thinking AI is the future, which is great because this means that the future is here. Where's my hoverboard? Where is my hoverboard? We've got AI. We've got machines that eventually are going to make us think they're humans. I don't know. Maybe this is. I've seen too many movies.
Apple's Vision Pro, right?
Yeah, all that stuff happening. And we've got another piece. This has to be from the future. I think someone has developed a time machine. They're bringing the future tech to us right now. So
I'm okay with it.
Tell us about another fantastic bit of future technology.
La nueva estrellita para esta semana, y quien se está poniendo a hacer de todo, no solamente son estas nuevas compañías en manufactura electrónica, sino que ahora también se está poniendo y está haciendo muchísimas otras tecnologías, todas estas compañías como Facebook con Meta. ¿Qué es lo que ellos están pretendiendo en hacer? Bueno, pues ellos están haciendo unas bandas inteligentes que van a ir en las muñecas. Y en las muñecas es donde vamos a tener todo el control de las nuevas interfaces de realidad aumentada. ¿Qué es lo que ellos pretenden? Bueno, pues realmente es controlarlo, muy parecido a lo que era Neuralink. Bueno, ahora va a ser de igual manera, pero con sensores en tu muñeca, sin ser tan invasivo. Entonces, de esta manera podríamos tener alguna especie de smart clicks, smart locking, diferentes cosas smart. Es decir, ¿qué no es smart en estos días, no? Entonces, se va a poner muy bien, como están viendo en los videos, qué es lo que ellos están haciendo o cómo es que ellos pretenden utilizar todas sus nuevas tecnologías. Entonces, vamos a ver cómo es que se comporta. Yo pienso que van a haber muchísimos retos, no solamente en el prototipado de este tipo de productos, sino también en el sector de manufactura.
Joseph's 100% right. I mean, I would much rather wear something on my wrist than have
Oh, yeah.
something that was invasive like Neuralink or even cumbersome like the Apple Visor, Apple Vision Pro. I can't remember the name of it. It's out of my price range. So,
But let's be honest, is this really that new? I mean, I'm pretty sure I saw this like a decade ago on Iron Man.
that is very true. Brian, I hate to break it to you, but Iron Man was a movie. Not a documentary. Maybe a documentary. Maybe that's what Iron Man is. It's a documentary for 15 years from now.
Yeah, this checks out perfectly. No, you're right. This is really cool. I could see this being something that is very useful because it's not super obvious, but when you need it, you pull it out and boom, there you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think this would be really sweet. Well, depending on the price, I'll be in line to buy it, but it might not be one of the first in line to buy it.
That's very true. Yeah. I always like to see a couple iterations go through because they work out all the bugs, but we'll see. Kratos Defense and Security Solutions has announced the company will be a visionary sponsor of Creative Disruptors in the Desert. Creative Disruptors in the Desert is a conference for an entrepreneurial industry and government leaders who recognize that a dramatic transformation is needed to secure U.S. national security competitiveness, which, I mean, it perfectly aligns with Kratos' mission. So
yeah,
it's exciting for them.
You know, one thing I think that we pretty much take for granted right now is the existence of Wi-Fi. Like we just know if we don't have Wi-Fi, we feel like we're out in the wilderness in the middle of absolutely nowhere because, you know, satellite Wi-Fi, whatever, it's everywhere. So I don't think we really look into what's behind it and realize companies are still making newer and newer Wi-Fi devices, right? So Keysight Technologies has just introduced their new wireless connectivity test platform that is going to be the next generation of Wi-Fi, the E7515W UXM wireless connectivity. It's developed to be the next generation, promising more performance advancements, improvements over the previous standards. And of course, once we go from Wi-Fi 6 to Wi-Fi 7, there's a lot of new stuff that has to be tested out, like the RF, the signaling RF and the throughputs on clients, the access points to ensure that everything can work as intended when deployed. But we are now getting, I guess, faster Wi-Fi pretty soon, at least for, you know, I think it's something, it's like, it's all around us. We know Wi-Fi is zooming by everywhere.
Yeah.
And we keep just getting better and better.
I mean, at the rate of how things are developing and moving, we've got to keep up the infrastructure, right? That includes our Wi-Fi.
Something, especially here where we're, you know, we talk about this a lot when we're looking at military upgrades and those sort of things, but you've got your new systems coming into your old systems and a lot of old stuff that is dependent upon the technology it was built for. So how do you integrate? How do you make sure that you're not going to break everything else and force people to buy a whole bunch of new stuff, which could be a great business model, except for the fact that if you break stuff, people aren't very happy.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you know there are actually people alive today who think that us old folks talking about the Y2K bug is a joke? Like,
oh, they
people
actually think
don't believe this is a real thing that we were worried about. And a lot of money was spent trying to fix systems so they wouldn't break whenever that happened. Like this was something they foresaw.
Yeah.
Do you know we have another such thing coming?
Do we really?
We do.
I didn't know we had another one coming. But I also find it funny that people thought that Y2K may have been a prank.
Mm-hmm. January 29th. No. January 19th of 2038.
Okay. Why?
Because right now numbers are stored, you know, that when you go into Excel and you say, hey, what's the timestamp? It gives you a number, right?
Yeah.
That number is the number of seconds that have passed from when they first created the standard. Like when they said, you know, time 0 is this date back in the 1970s.
Yeah.
And 32-bit systems can only store a certain number, up to a certain level, or a certain high number. So in 2038, the storage of that number, of the number of seconds, is going to be too big to be stored on a 32-bit device, which means all 32-bit devices that depend on time are going to break.
Wow. So we better start moving away from that now before It's too late.
Yeah. So like
I wonder
so
if
many
we're
things
gonna.
are 64-bit that is not really that big of a problem, except for old systems that were, that depend on 32 bits. And so it's going to be,
Yeah.
your microwave, your whatever. There's still stuff out there that's 32-bit systems. So it'll be interesting to see what solution we come up with in the next, what is that? 15? Yeah, I can do math.
14.
Some number of years. Yeah, 14 years.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. We'll go with that.
yeah,
Math.
so January 1st, 1970 is 0 seconds. And
Okay.
then the number of seconds have elapsed since then is that number.
Wow.
Mhm.
That's I don't know. I wonder if we're gonna continue to see these sort of like, was Y2K the first of many, many potential damaging things to all of our technology?
It's like sometimes humans aren't very forward thinking, and sometimes we are.
Yeah, it's true. Or maybe we are forward thinking, just not as far as we think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And speaking of forward thinking,
Vamos hablando de todo este tema también de manufactura en México. ¿Cómo es que viene? ¿Por qué? Porque estamos hablando de que en temas de electrónica como tal y también en temas de manufactura, no solamente vamos a estar hablando de lo que son dispositivos electrónicos como tal, tecnológicos para sistemas de consumo, sino que también estamos en el sector de dispositivos médicos. ¿Y qué es lo que sucede con dispositivos médicos? Bueno, pues ha sido una de las industrias que más ha crecido, no solamente en la industria automotriz, aeroespacial o de equipamiento industrial, ¿sí? También estamos teniendo un crecimiento por este efecto de reshoring y nearshore en México en el sector de dispositivos médicos. Entonces, se está creciendo bastante por ese lado. Puedo mencionar algunas marcas como es Medtronic, GE Electronics, y también hay algunos otros dentro de que están haciendo diferentes tipos de inversiones para crecer en este sector Bajío, sector Guadalajara y sector Monterrey también, que es nuestra frontera.
I mean, always exciting. We know Mexico's on the up and up when it comes to automotive, EVs, EV infrastructure, batteries, but to see med devices increase as well, I think that's fun. That's exciting.
yeah, I've said this for a while and haven't really taken it to heart yet, but I feel like it's probably time to learn how to speak Spanish well.
Yeah, I've said that for about 20 years, but here I am. So got to pick it up.
You can't be 20 years old yet. You look too young.
Yeah, that's right. 19 years.
Italy's state-owned Leonardo just said on February the 19th that the Ministry of Defense had asked it to study the development of its military space cloud architecture project, which is the first of its kind in Europe. The project, which is dubbed MILSCA, I don't know if it's supposed to be pronounced MILSCA or MILSCA, whichever one you feel like maybe, is going to provide Italy's government and armed forces with a system of high-performance computing, cloud and artificial intelligence, storage capacity, get this, directly in space. So this is fascinating that they're planning on a interconnected, multi-domained, digitalized platform all in, the Earth and up in space.
Yeah. It's one of those things, as we become more and more connected. I mean, we all know the economy is becoming a global economy, but Milska sounds like, or MILSCA, I think I'm going to stick with MILSCA, is guaranteeing users access to strategic data such as communications, Earth observation, and navigation data anywhere and at any time. I mean, it can grant higher speed and flexibility in the processing and sharing of that information, with 100 terabytes of data storage on Earth and in space aboard each satellite. And I think this is super interesting, a processing power of over 250 teraflops.
How much is that?
Okay, so 250 teraflops would be 250,000 billion operations per second.
Yeah, that really doesn't help. I don't even know how to actually picture what a billion is.
It's funny you say that. I heard someone say this morning that they had 600 board games, and I struggle to even imagine how many board games that is. That's a lot of board games. I can't even come close to trying to imagine a billion. I know it's a lot. We'll go with that.
600. I want to know, what is the ratio of board game to teraflops?
Oh, nope. Math is done for the day.
Oh, okay.
Math has left the building.